What's poppin', YouTube family? It's your boy Dwight. Welcome back to the channel, Silverback Siage. Hope all is well with everybody. First off, do me a huge favor. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you can be notified when I post new content. Now, today's video ain't gonna be super duper long, but it is special because I'm giving some summer fragrances their flowers, if you will. Hall of Fame style. Keep it locked. Well, let's get down to business. Now, all 10 of these fragrances has their own reviews. They've been in multiple lists, but it's like I said, it's time for these 10 to be inducted into the Summer Hall of Fame. Let's rock and roll. First one. And we're going with Aventus Cologne. Super duper fresh. But where the original Aventus, of course, is highlighted by the pineapple note. This one here has mandarin orange. But it got predominantly the other notes of Aventus. But this one also has a nice ginger pop that a lot of people don't publicize or talk about on a regular basis. One of the best summer scents that you can get your hands on, and 100% Hall of Fame worthy. Next one. Consistently making summer lists with Mancera Cedrat Boise. And this is the OG original. Beautiful basket of fruits. It's probably one of the best ways to describe this fragrance right here. Basket of fruits with a woody dry down. I mean, there's never a bad time to smell like this one here, and it's extremely reasonable on discounters versus retail. You can get this bottle right here, which is a 4-ounce bottle, for about $75 or so. Sometimes I've seen it as low as like $65. Excellent everyday scent. You can wear it year round, but to me it really represents itself in the summer. It's one that I'll always have in my collection. That's all I can say about that. Next one. We're headed to the house of Maison Francis Kurkdjian with Aqua, Celestia, Forte, Cologne. Staple in my rotation when it's hot. Super duper fresh, citrusy with the lemons and especially the citrus notes in that opening. But it has a nice powdery mid leading to a little bit of a musky dry down and some yellow florals in there. A staple in the summer. It makes you feel almost like you're cooling your body down when you spray this one here, but you're at the highest level of freshness, right alongside your citrus. Next one, headed to one of my favorite houses, and that's to the house of Bond number 9 with Eau De New York. Neroli at its finest, fresh, green, hot weather certified, all the way up from a white tee up to a suit you can spray this thing on. It's never a bad time to smell like this one right here. Like I've said in past videos, the next time it's time for me to upgrade that bottle or actually re-up on that bottle, I do want the big bottle that comes with like what was on the screen as far as the notes is concerned. That big white bottle with all the different New York little symbols on it, because I think it's pretty cool looking. But this is one that I always plan to keep in my collection and keep in heavy rotation when it's hot. Next one, headed to the house of Mizensir Eau De Gingembre, which basically, and I think it's in French if I'm not mistaken, or something like that, stands for ginger water. A very fresh, citrusy fragrance, but of course, with it being made by Alberto Mariez, what could you possibly expect less than what I just said about it? It's extremely citrusy, fresh. Never a bad time to smell like that one there. It's not one that I see much on discounters though. So if I'm not mistaken, I think I paid about $265 or $75 for this bottle. But it's been in my collection. I've been putting it in rotation, especially when it's hot. And it's another very versatile hot weather scent. Next one, headed to the house of Roja Dove or Roja Parfums with Elysium Parfum Cologne. Another one of those ones that's quite frequently compared to Aventus. But to me, it's a small percentage, maybe 40%. chance of it being like Aventus, because the fruits and the different nuances, the way this fragrance does this thing, going into that musky and slightly woody dry down, it does its own thing. To me, it doesn't resemble Aventus a whole lot, but of course, people, when they hear pineapple and apple and different fruits in the opening of a fragrance, they right away want to put it in that category. But to me, Elysium stands on its own, and it's one that I'll always have in my collection, especially when it's warm. Next one, the real deal for that scent profile. That's Creed Aventus. A little 50 ml bottle here. Pineapple, birch, fresh, with some woodiness in the dry down and some ambergris. Perfect summer scent, anytime scent, business meeting scent. Just letting you know that, to me, it hasn't lost its luster as far as whether or not you should have it in your collection. If you like the Aventus scent DNA and you're not tired of it, why not have the original versus the other 1,000 things that they have out there that smell like it or inspired by? Good staple when it's warm. Next one, headed to the house of Kilian. With roses on ice. Bottle level on this thing is dropping tremendously because I put some work in on this bottle. Me and my wife. Very, very fresh. Cucumber in that opening with some juniper berries, so it gives you that gin tonic, fresh cruise ship or beachside cocktail type of vibe, which Kilian actually is the type of fragrance house that specializes in making boozy scents smell amazing. One that I always plan to have in my collection. This liquors collection, period, I like a whole lot. There's some newer ones out there that I don't have. I plan to try to get my hands on and add to the collection. But this one here is, to me, the best hot weather worthy one. Beside also neck and neck with Blue Moon Ginger Dash, which I have the clone of. I don't have the actual fragrance, but I plan to add the actual fragrance to my collection. Summer certified. At the number 2 spot, back to the house of Mancera with Sicily. A staple. If you look at that dent, dents don't lie. It's been in major rotations for summers upon summers upon summers. Wonderful scent profile. Every fruit you can name, like I've said in past videos, is potentially in this bottle. But the ones that are at the top of the list is a wonderful peach note in there, and there's a lang-a-lang note that gives you a lot of yellow florals mixed in with other florals, but that's the floral that reigns supreme in this fragrance here. It's perfect for summer heat, perfect for barbecues, perfect for trips, cruises, you name it. That one is in my suitcase more times than not when it comes to being somewhere outside hot. And last but not least, one of my favorite fragrances in my entire collection, and what kind of started my taste or started my senses to want to explore the niche realm. And that's back to the house of Bond number 9 with Bond.com, or HTTP for some people. Even discontinued. This is actually a fragrance here that I love. Does get the Creed Aventus rap, and it's a lot closer than a lot of other fragrances that people say smell like Aventus. But where this one separates itself from Aventus, in my opinion, is it's no smokiness in this particular fragrance here. It does capture the pineapple fruitiness nuances of it here, but it has more of the Bond number 9 featured musky dry down, where Aventus goes woody, vanilla, birch, tar. This one here stays more fresh. Very little woods, if any, but it does mix in a few other fruits, a little bit of black currant in there, leading to that musky dry down. Now, even though it's discontinued, and you guys don't see it in as many videos as it would make if it wasn't discontinued, because I don't want you guys reaching for or trying to search down or overpay for a fragrance that you can't get your hands on in most cases without paying an arm and a leg for it. But these 10 right here deserve their flowers. All inducted to the Summer Hall of Fame, in my humble opinion. And you guys have watched some of my summer videos. Leave it down in the comments. Let me know what next 10 fragrances, or at least a few of them, that you think that's in my collection that is Hall of Fame worthy. And then also, even though these Won't be on this year's 2025 summer list, sensational summer list. I will say, let me know what you guys think about certain fragrances that's been inducted into the Hall of Fame, actually making it back into a video for the summer down the road, maybe taking a year or two off. How y'all feel about that? Or should I just leave them in the Hall of Fame and keep inducting new ones? But other than that, that's my time. Peace.